item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any? None. Thank you. Now we need to approve the minutes of the last meeting. That's pages 4 to 15 of the agenda. Is everyone happy for me to agree these and sign?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. Okay. Item 4, matters arising. Councillor Purton, sorry, is that all right? Councillor Purton's just going to say a statement and I'll come over on the waste contract. So I'll hand over to you, Councillor Purton.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to report further to the matters arising in the last minutes that following discussions with Veolia, they've confirmed in writing that they'll be pleased to extend the existing waste and recycling collection contract until midday on the 2nd of February 2019, and that the core terms of the extension will remain as per the current contract. This confirms that bin collections and existing waste and recycling services will continue without any disruption to residents beyond the end of June 2018. The extension will also give us the time and the flexibility needed to procure a new contract, because obviously with the changes that are being announced from China, there are other considerations to bear in mind now which were apparent when the previous contract documents were being drawn up. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd like to say it is fortunate that council officers have been able to secure an extension. Credit where credit is due to the officers who have negotiated the extension. As you can appreciate, I have a number of questions on the back of the statement by the portfolio holder. So I'll just kick off on one of the first fundamental questions I've had throughout this. In the statement at the last Cabinet, it said that the Council was abandoning the procurement process and would run a new process in the next few weeks. Do we have a date yet? Perhaps officers could inform me. Do we have a date yet when the new fast-track procurement process will begin?
Sorry, jumping on that, hand over? That's helpful. Yeah. So we don't have an exact date as this due to some of the, I'm sure you're aware, some of the global changes in the environmental market that have come across, especially in China. But we are confident that we're firming that down imminently and we'll have a timescale shortly, and we're confident it will all be covered within. We're happy to have the extension and it will be covered within that.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that, and I understand the context internationally, and we would just be grateful to have sight of that timeline as soon as you're able to, but I recognise there are external forces at play. The next question I have, I took part in a radio interview with Councillor Durkin a few weeks ago now. And in that interview, Councillor Durkin said explicitly that taxpayers wouldn't foot the bill for the extension to the contract. Who's then going to be paying for the extension to the Veolia contract?
I'll hand over to Councillor Bloom, wants to...
I need to be very delicate with my answer because it is subject to legal proceedings. But we have issued notice to our consultants that the situation requires looking at, and that is being done by our legal team.
And that's helpful, Graham. Are the council putting in place contingencies for a protracted legal case in that matter? So I'm not asking about the particulars of the legal case, because of course we can't talk about that, but what contingencies are being put in place from a budgetary perspective for an ongoing legal dispute there? Because obviously that's quite important.
All the risks of this course have been weighed by the legal team, and I'm afraid I can't answer this, but I'm more than happy to give a private briefing to Councillor Charles.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for the private agreement. I appreciate the sensitivities, Graham, that we're entering in, so I will not dwell on that any further. The other question I have is on the point that we discussed during the last Cabinet meeting, and that was the independent investigation. Now, Councillor Durkin helpfully reiterated in our interview of BPCS that it would be a full independent investigation. When I listened back to the dialogue over the Cabinet meeting a few weeks ago now, Brian said that he would have a discussion with lawyers, appreciated that it was a very busy time and you had other factors to deal with. But I still believe, and I think the council still believe, that there should be a full independent investigation, free from the council's own lawyers, because of course the council could then set its own remit and they would report on that. I think it would be of benefit if an outside council came in, spoke to officers and the Cabinet to understand lessons learned, and then reported back to all councillors in an open forum about learning lessons. And if that's in the true spirit of what Councillor Durkin said, then I'd be grateful for clarification on that.
Certainly that wasn't in the spirit of what I was saying. Is that all I was simply saying is we needed an independent, impartial review of what happened, what went wrong and why it went wrong. I never indicated that that should be an external counsel or anybody, but whoever it is should be independent and impartial. But I'm not cornering saying it should be a council or it should be someone from another organisation. But I do agree with you, is that we need to understand why, we need to have those lessons, and just to reinforce, I really don't think Harlow taxpayers should have to be paying for this particular issue, but you've heard the argument.
Yeah, no, and that's, I got the message that this will be an independent and an impartial investigation. You said that very clearly tonight, so I look forward to that.
Sorry, can I just also clarify, I am not the portfolio holder for environment, that is my colleague over there. I was asked to go to that interview, and this is my view and personal and professional opinion on that particular issue. But I am the Cabinet Member for Regeneration Enterprise. I will always bow to the experience of the Cabinet Member for Environment.
No questions.
Okay. Right, so moving on. Okay. So item 5, written questions from the public. We did have a question submitted, but the questioner is not here, so I'm going to move on. Yeah, okay, so it's not here, fine. Okay, question 6, written questions from councillors. I believe there was none submitted. Item 7, petitions, there was none submitted. Item 8, forward plan on pages 16 to 30. If there's any questions or comments? Yeah, Councillor Carter.
Oh, it works. Good evening, Madam Chairman. It's not much what's in the forward work plan, but what isn't in the forward work plan. At the previous 2 shareholder subcommittee meetings, Councillor Charles has asked for the Council's 5 main strategic issues in connection with HTS Group as to what it envisages the group actually doing for the Council in terms of expanding its work for the Council and extending to other work. Now, I've been all the way through, there's also pages here. There's also a comment at the SSC meeting that the shareholder subcommittee meeting is not the forum for discussing strategy. I don't really know what else is, but it should be discussed here. And that's why I'm raising it. It's not on the work plan here. So where are you going with HTS? It's a wonderful resource. It was chosen by your administration, so we assumed you had some idea what it is you're going to do with it. But we're still sitting around trying to find out what it is.
Yeah, and point is taken that, and we have plans to bring forward reports to this cabinet and looking at that as part. I understand sort of part of the forward plan. I expect that to be part of the forward plan in future meetings while we schedule exact dates and when that's going to be, and part of the business plan overhaul and looking at HCS, and that fits into that timescale on us as our corporate objectives. Which, yes, I understand the point about the shareholders subcommittee, but in terms of the actual council objectives, that is this body as a cabinet is the right place to set. And then obviously HCS's own business plan and as a shareholder, I'll say on that should be the shareholder subcommittee. Point taken, and there is plans to bring forward on that, and we'll make sure that we have dates and months for next meeting. And all of that. Is there any other questions? Yeah, look, I'm going to move back to Mr. Hode's here, so I'm going to move back to questions from the public. Don't worry, I'm going to move back to that point. You've come, so Mr. Hode, if you want, don't worry, if you want to come and take your question, I'm happy to take that now.
Thank you very
That's
much.
okay. No problem at all.
May I read it? Oh, sorry.
Be the black button.
Right. May I read the question? Why was the Managing Director of Harlow Council appointed without interview?
Thank you. The Managing Director was appointed without interview for the following reasons. The Council has ambitious and well-developed plans for the future of Harlow, with significant levels of public and private sector investment earmarked for the town. Public Health England's new science hub and HQ equate to £480 million investment, and Harlow Enterprise Zone's anticipated private sector investment is estimated to be in the region of £500 million. In addition to this, the government-supported Harlow and Gilston Town project recognised the potential, which seeks to deliver 16,000 new homes in and around Harlow. Harlow itself is planned to support in the region of an additional 11,000 new jobs and 9,000 new homes in the local plan period. This is now an opportunity for a whole place approach to focus on the people of Harlow and the built environment to deliver both housing and economic growth and the regeneration of the town, which will enable Harlow's existing and future residents and businesses to benefit. The Harlow local plan has reached a key milestone, and with consultation imminent. It is imperative that there is clear and stable leadership role in the context of the Duty to Cooperate Board and the development of Harlow and Gilston Garden Town project. During 2017, the then acting Managing Director was personally involved or leading on all of the major projects referred to above, as well as managing the day-to-day activities of the Council. As this is an important time for Harlow, it is essential that the Council has stability in its leadership. For this reason, the then acting Managing Director was appointed to the permanent position in order to provide stability in the leadership for the Council. Do you have a supplementary, Mr. Hode?
I do. At full Council in April 2017, you moved a motion, which was adopted by the Council, that the Council should encourage female staff to the highest positions in the Council. How does this apply to such an important position in the Council, as no woman, to my knowledge, has been interviewed, but has certainly been applied, in your case, being appointed leader? Does this mean that that motion only applies to councillors and not people wishing promotion in the Council?
Absolutely not, Mr. Hode, and you're correct, it is a very key issue for me and something that I believe passionately within our organisation. We did go through the process, there was women interviewed, and for whatever reason that was not, the offer we made was not accepted, and we moved forward in that process. I don't want to speak for Brian, who's not here tonight, but I know from many conversations that he also recognised the need for diversity and encouragement within our own workforce, which you're correct is 2/3 female, and that and how we represent the town. And there's a lot of work as a council in terms of changing the culture, supporting our own staff so they're prepared to step up. And we don't have a roadblock where we're bringing in always external people for higher positions, and able to encourage our own thing. That I recognise that that's a longer term problem. I recognise it's far bigger than this council, but it's always something that's important and to bear in mind, and something that's really key for us going forward. Thank you, Mr. Hode. Okay, to the agenda. agenda. Where was we? Okay, yeah, so we just done forward plan, noted. Okay, item, sorry, 9, thank you very much. Item 9, recent decisions taken by the leader, deputy or portfolio holders. We have one this month. So that's item 9A to note, the decision by the portfolio holder for housing on the 8th of February, and that's on page 31. I don't know if there's any questions, but it's quite straightforward, but everyone's happy. Yeah. Great, so that's for noting. Brilliant. Okay, that moves us on to item 10, HDS Property Environment Limited, contract awards for 2018/19 on pages 32 to 37.
I formally move this item, Chair.
Seconded, Chair.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments? I think it's fairly straightforward, and comments from last year were noted, and we made sure that this was brought forward in a timely manner this year. So, thank Councillor Carter for his points last year, and we live and learn.
That was going to be my comment, Madam Chair. You know, it is coming forward in a timely fashion, and HCS will be able to deliver a whole year's worth of, actually more than a whole year's worth of work in 1 year. So we'll look forward to that.
Right, was there any other comments? Okay, so if we take the vote, that's item 10 on pages 32 to 37. Are we all agreed? Agreed. Great, thank you. Okay, that's moving on to item 11, which is the appointment of Cabinet Overview Working Group, panels and partnership bodies on pages 38 to 40. I will move that.
I'll second that, Chair.
Just say this is just filling of vacancies and changes in the Cabinet. There wasn't any other changes. Was there any questions on any of the appointments? Any comments? Great, are we all happy to do it?
Agreed.
Okay, fantastic. Item 13, I'm going to take them on block. So it's to note the minutes of the panels and working groups. So it's A to E, pages 41 to 53. I don't know if anyone had any questions or comments from any of it, it's just for noting. Perfect, and that's noted. Item 14, matters of urgent business, I haven't been notified. And that's close of business in time for football. So